This is a story about the creation of the Framer Academy Video Studio in Southern California. But it's also a story about constraints and trying something out of the ordinary. And it doesn't start in California. It starts here, 740 miles north in Oregon, where I created a pretty big problem.
Andy's green screen videos look amazing, and I would love to be able to pull that off. However, his workflow is a freaking nightmare.
He's not wrong. My workflow isn't automated at all. I record audio and video separately, process and sync them, then export a massive file to After Effects for multiple rounds of keying. It's slow, unforgiving, and resource intensive.
It takes forever. I have to turn around like 1 to 2 videos a week, and I'm gonna lose like a whole day just to the green screen workflow. I'm not doing all that. I wanna sit down, I wanna push one button. I want the background to be in the scene. Like The Mandalorian, they didn't shoot on a green screen. They shot with a screen, an actual screen. Why can't I shoot with an actual screen?
I had no idea that my choice of virtual production was going to create all these downstream headaches and infinite lighting and background expectations for other video people that would join in the coming months and years. So instead of feeling bad about that, I hopped on a plane to fly down to sunny Southern California to document their process and help with a little light physical labor.
Can someone push the little button with the lock on it?
Yeah.
Sick.
Why is this?
Can you push it more better? That's it. This is the office suite. This is what we have to work with. We're going to be turning it into the recording studio of the future. And we can take a look at what that looks like. You want to see what it's going to look like? This whole thing has been planned out in great detail. I built what the plan is for this space to achieve essentially this composition. And what we're looking at here is the 120-inch projector screen behind a desk, right? This is theoretically me sitting at the desk. The key to making this work, the key to making this convincing, is having backgrounds that are rendered as if they're in the same physical space as the desk setup, where I am, where my monitor is, the room that I'm actually in.
Something I haven't mentioned yet is that both Joseph and Justin have previously been recording in spare bedrooms or corners of their houses. And Joseph's home office is about to become a nursery. So the move to an official studio for a more cohesive and branded look couldn't come at a better time.
So now that we got all this pretty well dialed in, today is all about sound dampening. Because what we were picking up on this mic when we did our test recordings last night was very pingy. There's a lot of hard surfaces in this room. And we're gonna use the foam to separate the blankets from the wall a little bit. Because if the blankets are flush with a hard wall, they start to take on the characteristics of the wall itself. What up? Welcome to the new Framer Academy studio. This has been a work in progress for quite some time. Still a little messy. I have plenty of cable management to do, but let's talk about the setup itself. We've got our camera over here, which is a Sony a7C II. Normally we shoot with a Sony FX3, but with the setup that we have now with the projector, we have to set a very, very specific shutter speed to sync with the flicker of that projector. And the Sony FX3 actually can't do it. It can't let us tweak with the granularity that we need to have perfect sync. We've got our big key light here. Nothing too extreme for the light itself, but we do have an Amran 300C, which is a full RGB light. We also have 2 Amran T4Cs, which again are full RGB lights. This is called an Ambient Light Rejection projector screen, an ALR projector screen. And it's actually got a sawtooth pattern on it. It's very, very fine, but there's a sawtooth pattern where the top of each tooth is dark and not reflective, and the bottom of each tooth is highly reflective. It's gray, but it's highly reflective. And the projector down here is an ultra short throw projector, which is gonna shine light at a very steep angle. And that light that's coming up at a steep angle is gonna be reflected forward, and the light that's spilling from the room, from the key light, from the edge lights, from whatever light's bouncing around, is theoretically going to be rejected. much like we need to isolate the sound in the room, we also very much need to isolate the light in the room. Killing the lights. When this computer comes on, automatically wakes up the projector, and I've got my image, the render that I put together in Cinema 4D, that is set as the desktop wallpaper, because there's really no need to fiddle with any software just to display an image on a display. So that's my desktop wallpaper. I could switch it out for a different wallpaper when we want to go to a different environment, but let's take a look at what the computer is going to do for us. I've set up some hue switches, I've got dummy batteries, I've got a lot of things set up to happen automatically here. So I'm just going to push a button called Go Time that runs an automation that I set up when it's go time. That's going to turn on the camera. It's going to turn on the auxiliary fan behind the camera. So let me actually start recording, and we can show you what this looks like and what it sounds like. I don't know if my hat's on straight, but yeah, here's the general idea. Got my shotgun mic here just out of frame. I'm looking over here at my monitor just to monitor the video and the audio that I've got capturing. And then over here on the left is my actual workstation. So as I'm working in Framer and recording myself, you're seeing this screen when I cut to my computer screen. So two separate computers going on here. This whole setup's really just about control. Control and automation and being able to hit record and get something that's super high quality without the horrific workflow of going through the process of keying out backgrounds and doing all the After Effects stuff that Andy likes to do.
Now you might be thinking the same thing I am right now. I want to see more background options. This whole thing is kind of all about different backgrounds and flexibility, and so far we've only seen one.
All right, time to play with a few different backgrounds, and I've got a couple of sets of backgrounds to play with. One set I created myself using Cinema 4D. Another set was created by Andy using AI. What's fun about having created this in Cinema 4D is that I can play with the lighting. So I can click the lights off. I can go full dusk by changing the lighting of the environment entirely. Let's go to a completely different environment. And now my edge lights have changed, and I can play with those even more to kind of show you. I've got these warm edge lights that allow me to sort of dial up the light from the background, spilling onto me, onto the desk, and sort of kicking forward from the background. Let me reset my lighting to the first one where we started. And let me go to one of his daytime scenes, because he created this, which has quite a bit of natural light spilling in from a window sort of off to the side, which is kind of similar to the first example that we started with, but none of it's really hitting me. And one of the caveats to this setup is I can't really wrap myself in light from the front. So if the background implies that there is light coming from all angles in this space, I can't really light myself for that, because that light would spill onto the projector and it would wash out the image. So this whole setup kind of lends itself more to darker, moodier lighting, to setups where there isn't a ton of light in front of me, but there is light behind me. There we go. That's much better. I created a preset where the light is not so much splashing on me from behind for sort of darker backgrounds. And then we've got that cool dark light that's bouncing off the back. And there's another one that looks kind of dark and blue that he gave me. Yeah, this one here. Might be a little bit weird that the background is this close to me and this warm light is hitting me but is not hitting the background. So this is one of those scenarios where I wish this wasn't AI, because I could kind of fine tune this in Cinema 4D. Andy created this one in AI, but if I were to recreate this one perhaps in Cinema 4D or have Andy take another pass at it, I would probably account for the key light that's hitting me also hitting the background. The background couldn't possibly be this ice cold if it's this close to me and I'm this warm. This one I'd probably want to light similarly to the previous one, except in this case we've got the light coming more directly from behind. There we go. That's a bit better. And then this last one that Andy sent over, it's pretty similar. We got sort of a 3/4 window light vibe going on, kind of like splitting the difference between the side window here and the rear window here. So yeah, we got a lot of options to go with, and they're all pretty lightable. So yeah, looks to me like this setup is going to be pretty flexible. Works well with light backgrounds, dark backgrounds, as long as the implication is not that I'm in an environment that's completely surrounded by light.
If you want to see what kind of things come out of this studio, check out the Framer Academy and design your own website for free at framer.com.
This is BTS.